Guten Gardening. We're hanging out by our zucchini this morning because we see 2 new blooms, and we're going to take that opportunity to show you a simple way to improve your harvest. Pollinators are an essential part of any garden. Whether that's your bees, your wasps, your ants, all of these pollinators are there to help ensure that you have a plentiful harvest. But sometimes you don't have the number that you need. And in that case, it's important to know how to hand pollinate. Today, we're going to show you the difference between the male and the female flowers and 2 easy ways to hand pollinate that will help you get the most out of your garden. As you can see, the 2 flowers we have here are very different from each other. The male flower has a thin, long stem behind it, and the female flower has the immature fruit. Our goal is to transfer the pollen from the male flower to the female flower. We typically use 2 different processes of hand pollination. One involves a Q-tip and one involves scissors. With the method using the Q-tip, it's important to remember not to get any of your hand oils around the tip, and it's important not to get it wet. The Q-tip is nice because you're actually leaving the flower alive, and so if there are other pollinators in the area, they may come and take the remaining pollen and move it on to other plants. The downside to having the Q-tip is that you're actually leaving some of the pollen in the Q-tip, as you'll see here in just a moment. The other method involves cutting off the male flower and directly transferring the pollen to the female flower. This is a terminal process, which means that we are removing the flower completely, but it requires a little bit less waste because you are directly transferring the pollen. Let's take a look at both of those methods now. In order to hand pollinate using the Q-tip, you place the Q-tip in close proximity to the pollen and collect as much as you can. Now you can see all of the pollen that we've collected very easily, and we're going to take that pollen and move it, transfer it to the female plant. Now that we have the pollen collected on the Q-tip, we're going to do the same process. We're going to take the pollen and gently place it around the flower. You can see that there is less pollen on the Q-tip. However, it was not a 100% transfer, as there's still some remaining. The second method involves cutting the male flower out, which we're going to do very gently. Now it's important to have a handle on the flower, a place to hold on to it. So we're going to cut as low as we can get and remove the flower. Now if we look closely at the inside of this flower, you can see some of the pollen down at the base that we disturbed earlier. You should also note that this flower is supposed to be edible, and some people fry them up. Now we've never done that, but I'd love to hear, if you have, what it tastes like in your experience. We're going to very carefully peel back the petals to expose the core where the pollen is. But I do want to remind you that it's important to have a handle, so keeping the stem nice and long. Otherwise, when you're trying to do the hand pollination, you're going to have a much harder time. As I'm peeling the petals back, I've got a nice firm hold on the base, you can start to see the core exposed. Being very careful not to disturb the pollen, and this just broke off, and that does happen sometimes. So you just have to be careful now, because we're going to have much less room to grip. All right, we're taking off the whole way around, trying to waste as little pollen as possible. And there we go. Now you can see, once this is exposed, why it would have been much better to have the stem not fall off like it just did. But we still have a grip that we can hold on to as we complete the pollination process. In order to pollinate, we're going to take the pollen and bring it directly in and gently move it around, trying to transfer as much as we can. And it's as simple as that. If we had other plants with flowers open, we could use this to continue the pollination process there. But both of these methods will work, will improve the size of your harvest, and will improve the bounty of your harvest. If you're having a hard time with your squash, give it a go, and you'll see just how simple and effective it is. We hope you enjoyed our video today, and if you did, please give us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends. And remember, when you're with us, you're good to grow.